how does your competitive side show up?
It shows up in athletics. It shows up in needing to be seen as very successful. I had very high positions when I worked in other companies, and I derived a lot of my identity from that. I was a COO, I was a senior vice president. I had all the titles, and getting to that next level was important to me. And it was a shift when I started my own business not to have that kind of external recognition and validation. I've I mean, this totally tracks. I was an ultra marathoner. I've been a power lifter. My athletic things are quantitative so that I can have a next level to get to and I can track progress. So a lot of it is being competitive with myself,
Yeah. So, needless to say, you're very goal oriented.
but it has to be a goal that matters to me. If somebody else gives me a goal, I don't care at all.
Yeah. How was that for you, like early in your life? How has that changed or not changed?
The one thing I can think of is I took violin lessons as a child, and that was something that was very important to my parents. And my teacher at the time said that you have a lot of talent. You need to either start really buckling down and making this your life so you can get ahead, or don't waste my time. This is the last conversation I had with him because it wasn't my goal. It wasn't what I wanted to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you got into the lessons because it was important to parents. And then
Mhm.
when it came time to really, what an intense teacher, too, to say, like, this is going to
Yeah, I
be
mean, I
your
was like
everything
12.
or
I
nothing.
was like 12, and he said, you need to practice like 4 hours a day. I was like, nope, no, thank
Yeah.
you.
No, maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I had natural talent. It's something I could have been really good at, and it wasn't. And instead, later in my life, I was very much a music and books kind of family. And then
Mm.
early adult rebellion was to go hard into athletics. And I was like, I'm going to run a marathon. And that became the goals that I set for myself and the challenges I set. And that led to 10 years of doing a lot of distance running, culminating in ultras, and just doing things that were goals that would, some of it was that they would surprise people and that it was not what was expected and that it wasn't what was expected of what I could do.
What do you think was going on for you at the time, or what do you remember it was going on for you at the time that you said, like, this is what my family sees as valuable, and instead I want to go and do this?
Yeah, I was in my late 20s. I wasn't in a relationship. I wasn't happy and I was feeling constrained and very much had that realization that what I had been doing wasn't serving me and wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. And what could I do that would scare me? And that would be the most opposite of what I had done. And the catalyst for all of this was I signed up for an outward bound trip. Like I was a hardcore indoor kid. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the desert to Joshua Tree for a week with a bunch of strangers and get stranded there by myself and have to hike and have to carry everything. And in order to do that, and I said, I know I'm going to be miserable, but to minimize the misery, I need to get in better shape and I need to start recognizing the physical side of my being. So I started training for it, and that was the beginning of it.
So that is like arguably an extreme pivot, right? To say, okay, I want to grow in this way. And so I'm going to throw myself into
Yeah.
the fire in like the most extreme way possible. And so I'm curious, is that something you have done in other areas of your life? Would you consider yourself to be kind of extreme?
I mean, I've left high-paying, very, very stable jobs to see what I could do running my own business without a single client.
Yeah.
Um, I recently left a marriage and packed up my whole life and went on a month-long road trip and then came back and started over in a new part of town in a new home, meeting a whole new community. So I'm fairly black and white.
Say a little more about that. Black and white.
I don't ease into things so much. Um,
You're the go big or go home kind of person.
yeah, yeah, yeah.